In February, the rainy season transforms the plains into an ocean of lush green grass. This is the time of new life. For a lion, a queen's crown is not forged from gold, but woven from sacrifice and scars. After giving birth, the lioness's body is a depleted temple. But the faint calls of her cubs are a sacred command. Even before she has recovered, she must face relentless hunger, so that her milk, the cub's only source of life, never runs dry. Her body weak, the queen is forced to humble herself. Carrion left by vultures becomes a meager meal to sustain her day by day. When the queens are exhausted, the king must descend from his proud throne. A male lion's fiery mane is a symbol of his power, but it is also a deadly trap. Its magnificent profile makes him easy to spot when stalking prey and causes him to overheat quickly. It is why the kings rarely join hunts that demand endurance. But when their cubs are on the line, they become true fighting machines. A young Cape buffalo is an easy first target, requiring little effort. Among the dense bushes, a male lion approaches in silence, his muscles coiled beneath his thick mane. From a short distance, he lunges, an explosive and decisive burst of power. On the Savannah, only the swift and the strong survive. Meanwhile, amidst the tall, dense vegetation, life quietly sprouts in the lingering raindrops. A zebra mother licks her newborn, not only to ward off flies, but to etch its scent into her memory. On this savannah, slowness is an inescapable death sentence. The zebra foal is a natural athlete, able to stand in about 10 to 15 minutes and can run within an hour. Science calls them a precocial species, with legs almost fully developed in the womb, ready to flee from predators. The young follow the flow of energy-rich milk while keeping pace with the wind-swift herd. But sometimes the darkness comes from their own kind. In conflicts for dominance, the victor often becomes a tyrant. The winner has no desire to raise the offspring of a defeated rival. He wants the mare to come into heat again quickly, to perpetuate his own bloodline. Faced with this cruel instinct, a mother must cast aside her fear. Where life is paid for in blood, a mother's love is the final fortress. If a zebra foal needs almost an hour to truly keep pace with the herd, a wildebeest calf has only minutes to face its destiny. During the Great Migration, over 500,000 little lives are born in just a few weeks. A population explosion that attracts countless predators. Thanks to the calcium and phosphorus in the grass, enriched by volcanic ash, the mother's milk becomes fuel to strengthen her calf's bones. But it is also the beginning of a perilous journey. A wildebeest calf must stand within 3 to 7 minutes and run after 15 to 20 minutes. It is only allowed to suckle after it has learned to walk and run. For every 10 calves, only one will survive to adulthood. In this unending race, every second counts, forcing them to accelerate from their very first breath. April arrives, the rainy season dwindles, and the grasslands begin to parch. The great herds enter the final stage of their preparations. Scattered groups merge, forming a colossal column for the long and challenging journey ahead. Zebras often depart 2 to 3 weeks before the wildebeest. With their efficient digestive systems, they eat the tough, taller grasses, inadvertently becoming pioneers who clear the way. The wildebeest, in turn, prefer the shorter, protein-rich shoots, ideal for their more complex digestive systems. The zebra's keen sight and hearing help detect danger, protecting those who follow. Their foals are also now strong enough to keep up with the herd, unlike the wildebeest calves, who still need time to mature. In the kingdom of shadows, silence is the ultimate weapon. The leopard, a solitary phantom, displays its art. Its crown is forged from patience and the mastery of camouflage. A zebra is a substantial meal, with a predictable route along water sources and a body rich in flesh. But rather than confronting the powerful adults, the leopard selects a more vulnerable target, a foal. Before the migration, a zebra mother must train her young to cross the shallow waters. Against all odds, the maternal instinct of the prey has triumphed over the hunger of the predator. But this is only the beginning. In contrast to the striped torrent, the wildebeest kingdom pauses for the season of courtship. When the calves are 2 months old, their mothers come into estrus again. This ignites a civil war among the adult males. From an evolutionary perspective, this is their final gamble. Once the migration truly begins, the chance to mate will be lost. He bellows, stamps his hooves, and swings his tail with vigor. It is all a public performance to attract a mate. Here, patience is worth more than speed. While the males dance their displays of power, the females quietly watch the sky. They can smell the coming rains from the northwest. Those distant drops of water will end this brief romance and begin an irreversible migration. When the signal comes, the wildebeest herds begin their inexorable journey. They move on instinct, forming a great river flowing across the savannah. The zebras maintain the pace at the front, unhurried, holding a steady formation. They pause often to scan their surroundings, guiding the entire congregation through safer lands. As the two great armies depart, leaving behind ravaged fields, the final athletes emerge. The gazelles. Thompson's gazelles wait for the savannah's gardeners to mow the grass, exposing tender, protein-rich shoots and something else. The open space gives their sharp eyes a clear view to spot danger from afar. They move in groups of 10 to 50, light and swift as arrows ready to be loosed. But in the shadows of the rocks, a predator's crown already lies in wait. All it awaits is a single moment of carelessness from these warriors of speed. In the dust of the Serengeti, a paradox of evolution is revealed. A Thompson's gazelle can reach 55 miles per hour, faster than a lion's top speed. But on the chessboard of survival, speed means little against the art of the ambush and patience. The lioness uses the low grass to her advantage, closing the distance for a lightning-fast strike. Despite its zigzagging sprints and powerful leaps, the gazelle is overcome by sheer muscular power and a merciless siege. After hundreds of miles under a harsh sun, the migrants finally reach their greatest ordeal, the Mara River, where death lurks beneath the murky water. A wildebeest cow is the first to leap. Her act opens a path of life and death for the thousands that follow. Below the surface, Nile crocodiles wait with ancient patience, almost motionless. A single misstep, and the river becomes a death sentence. Wave after wave of wildebeest pour down, creating a chaotic maelstrom in the churning current. Mixed among them, plains zebras swim powerfully, their thick hides and mighty kicks giving them a chance to fight back. But this river does not belong to them. A sudden strike from a Nile crocodile drags its prey into the dark water, gone in seconds. In the panic, herd instinct forces those behind to push forward, straight into the danger. In a few short minutes, dozens of lives can be extinguished in the current. Here, speed is not always a savior, but slowness is almost certainly a death warrant. This is the migration's most severe test. The survivors have no choice but to press on. Of the more than 1 million wildebeest that leave the Serengeti, only a fraction will complete the entire journey. Hundreds of thousands will fall to exhaustion, to disease, and to the ever-watchful predators. The river not only takes life, but it also maintains the fragile balance of this vast ecosystem. As the last hooves touch the far bank, the herds believe they have escaped a living hell. But in the Masai Mara, salvation is a cruel illusion. The lionesses turn the crossing point into a feast, exploiting the exhaustion of their prey. The zebra herd presses close, a collective shield making it difficult for predators to reach the strongest individuals. But nature has no mercy for the wounded, or for those who fall behind. When the line between life and death is drawn by pain, the victor's crown is stained with the blood of those left behind. This journey is measured by a silent, burning faith against 1,000 trials. The night is an ally to the hunters. A large and powerful buffalo, caught off guard, becomes a magnificent feast for the pride. But with elephants, it is a completely different story. They are gentle giants, but also formidable warriors when threatened. The matriarch, with her years of accumulated experience, knows full well that lions always target the youngest and weakest members of the herd. The large elephants stand ready to protect their young. The lion pride has no chance at all. The lions have steadily regained their hunting instincts. They spot a lone giraffe. The chase begins. A single giraffe cannot withstand the power of the pride. It has become a feast for the lions. From tomorrow, the giraffe's family will be missing a member. There is no mercy here. This is the natural law of the wild. The pulse of the savannah would be incomplete without the armies of the night, the spotted hyenas. Not as majestic as the lion, nor as swift as the cheetah, but it is their endurance and collective power that make them Africa's most common large carnivore. When the migration brings an abundance of food, they hunt for the vast majority of it, up to 90% of their diet. With an unusually large heart, a hyena can pursue its prey until it collapses from sheer exhaustion. Their jaws are one of the most powerful tools in nature, strong enough to crush large bones to extract every last nutrient. This is what makes them the efficient recyclers of the savannah. They hunt in clans, coordinating to bring down much larger targets. Their success rate can be over 50% on many hunts. Under a rare matriarchal system, females dominate, leading clans that can number in the dozens. They expand and defend their territory with scent, with sound, and with overwhelming presence. In this harsh order, the spotted hyena is not just a predator, it is one of the final arbiters of the plains. A different stage, with an entirely different set of rules. Welcome to Etosha National Park in Namibia. Here, there are no endless grasslands, no mighty rivers. There is only a vast, white salt pan stretching to infinity, scorched under an unforgiving sun. From May to October, the dry season holds this land in its grip. All sources of life are drained, leaving only a few precious waterholes, fragile oases that dictate life and death. The game has now changed. It is no longer a journey, but a vigil. All are forced to come to the water, and in doing so, they place themselves at the center of a deadly arena. But this stage has ancient actors, born of this very hardship. With a powerful build, standing up to 5 feet tall and weighing up to 3,000 pounds, the black rhinoceros is not an animal to be trifled with. They carry 2 horns that grow continuously throughout their lives, essential for defense and for challenges with their own kind. Despite its name, the black rhino's skin is actually grey, sometimes taking on an earthy tone from its mud baths. The black rhino is a browser equipped with a prehensile upper lip that works like a finger, delicately plucking tender leaves. They can absorb much of the water they need from vegetation, allowing them to survive for several days without drinking from a direct source. But not all possess such independence. As the sun reaches its zenith, the Ocauquejo waterhole becomes a meeting point for prisoners of thirst. Herds of blue wildebeest and plain zebras, the great travelers of the Serengeti, are now reduced to motionless waiters. The migration is over. The journey is now measured in a few hundred yards from the bush to the water's edge. The air is thick not only with the 113-degree Fahrenheit heat, but with a tense silence. Every step is a calculation. Every sound is a warning. Their eyes are not on the cool water, but constantly scanning the still groves of trees, where the shadows never truly recede. This is no longer a pilgrimage following the rains. This is a daily, repetitive vigil between life and death. Their gathering has unwittingly turned this oasis of survival into a perfect hunting ground, where the rulers need not move. But at this waterhole, patient predators are not the only ones waiting. The giants of the plains must also bow to thirst. The African elephant, the largest of all land animals, can stand over 10 feet tall and weigh up to 13,200 pounds. Every elephant herd is a family, led by the oldest female, the matriarch. She is the living memory of the herd, remembering water sources, safe passages, and the dangers they have faced before. The dry season forces them to travel dozens of miles each day. A single adult needs up to 330 pounds of food and 25 to 30 gallons of water daily. On their journey, they inadvertently reshape the entire ecosystem. They clear bush, open pathways, and disperse seeds across the plains. Every step is guided by the matriarch's memory. Ancient pathways are retraced year after year, leading them back to water sources that seem to have vanished. The greater kudu is one of Africa's largest antelopes. Adult males can stand up to 5.2 feet at the shoulder and weigh up to 700 pounds. Their long, spiraled horns, reaching around 4 feet, are used for both defense and as a unique sign of status. To survive the harsh conditions of the dry season, the greater kudu is most active at dawn and dusk, spending the heat of the day resting in the shade. They are browsers, but their diet is not limited to leaves. With their dexterous muzzles, they also eat flowers, fruits, young shoots, and fresh grass. Their large ears, always alert, help them detect any challenge long before it arrives. When spotted, rather than fleeing immediately, they tend to freeze, trusting their coat to blend in with the landscape of rock and bush. But if they must move, they can leap up to 10 feet high, clearing obstacles as if unbound by gravity. As the waterholes at Halali begin to reflect the golden sunset, the activity in the bush changes. Etosha is also home to another giant, the ostrich, the world's largest bird. A kick from its powerful legs is enough to make any predator hesitate. With speeds of up to 43 miles per hour, they cross the arid plains like tireless athletes. In the dry season, they gather in large flocks, moving between water sources in search of food. As omnivores, they survive on leaves, seeds, insects, and even carrion when necessary. They can tolerate thirst by absorbing moisture from the plants they eat. Their enormous eyes allow them to spot danger from a great distance. During the breeding season, the male performs a courtship dance on the open ground to attract a female. A single nest can hold dozens of immense eggs. In heat that exceeds 122 degrees Fahrenheit, both parents take turns guarding their clutch, protecting one of the savannah's most fragile treasures. As the final sunset sinks below the horizon, another of nature's cycles closes, making way for rebirth. In these harsh lands, life never stands still. The crown of survival belongs not just to the strongest, but to the most resilient of hearts, where a mother's love never yields, and instinct guides the way through every trial. Death may be the end for an individual, but it is the fuel that allows the grand symphony of the ecosystem to play on. The savannah will continue to tell its story, a tale of quiet hopes and the magnificent, fragile beauty of this planet. It is a realm where order is established by apex predators. Nearly 4,000 lions and 1,000 leopards patrol these lands every day. They are nature's editors, maintaining the delicate equilibrium between life and death. In this web of survival, the warthog serves as a biological plow. Their rooting for tubers aerates the soil, allowing the grasslands to regenerate. The cheetah, in turn, performs the essential task of culling the weak from prey populations. This ensures that only the most robust genetic lineages endure and are passed on. At the heart of the Serengeti lies the Serengeti region, where subterranean rivers flow without end. This is a rare oasis, but the price of life here is paid in blood. Serengeti is the capital of Africa's most accomplished hunters. This is the domain of the lion, masters of ambush and roar, overwhelming power. Here, even the earth offers no sanctuary. Outside the burrow's entrance, a lion stalks in silence before launching a powerful strike to drag its prey into the light. The ambush concludes with the absolute authority of the land's true sovereign. The Savannah is not merely a place of slaughter, it also hosts extraordinary moments of cooperation. Warthogs will often lie perfectly still to allow a pack of banded mongooses to clamber over them. This is a fair exchange of services in the wild. The warthog is cleansed of disease-carrying parasites, while the mongooses enjoy a protein-rich feast. Pests, such as ticks and lice, often hide within the folds of the warthog's skin. Left unchecked, they can cause severe infections. This partnership is so seamless that the warthog rests as if enjoying a spa treatment. These tiny bodyguards help it maintain the peak health required for its next escape. Yet such peace is often a fleeting illusion. A leopard lurks in the shadows, as silent and patient as a forest ghost. With vision 7 times more acute than our own, it has already locked onto the carotid artery of its prey. When the distance narrows to less than 16 feet, a cataclysm of action begins. Unlike the cheetah, the leopard is the embodiment of muscular power and superlative reflexes. It does not require a long chase, instead finishing its target with a thunderous pounce. Its razor-sharp claws sink deep into the prey's shoulders, providing the leverage to bring down an opponent twice its weight. It is a cold, clinical, and devastatingly efficient execution. The leopard is a master of concealment, often hauling its kill into the high branches of a tree. This is the only way to safeguard its prize from prying eyes. However, the law of the Serengeti dictates that the powerful shall dominate. The lion, weighing 440 pounds, frequently shadows the leopard to commit a bold robbery. This food theft, or kleptoparasitism, is an energy-saving strategy for the lion. In the wild, raw strength is often more valuable than finesse. A male lion is a living engine of muscle with a bite force reaching 1,000 pounds of force. This power is sufficient to crush the skulls of the most stubborn prey in a single blow. Faced with such overwhelming might, the leopard is forced to retreat to save its life. It understands that risking everything for a single meal is never a wise choice. On the southern plains, a mother cheetah faces a harrowing trial. The survival rate for cheetah cubs in the Serengeti is terrifyingly low, only about 5%. Each day is a struggle against extinction. The mother must hunt relentlessly to provide milk for her litter while remaining ever vigilant against enemies. The black streaks running from the cheetah's eyes are known by local people as eternal tear marks. Scientifically, they absorb sunlight to reduce glare during the midday hunt. But according to Zulu legend, they are the marks of a mother's grief for her lost cubs. Those tears have etched themselves into the fur as a permanent testament. For the males, however, the story is entirely different. They often form enduring coalitions to ensure their survival. A coalition usually consists of 2 to 3 brothers from the same litter. This collective strength allows them to target massive prey, such as blue wildebeest weighing up to 550 pounds. A wildebeest is a biological tank, equipped with curved horns and a thick hide. A solitary cheetah would never dare risk an attack on such a target. The coalition's tactic is to encircle and strike in turns. This coordination is as rhythmic as a pre-programmed machine. Each member knows its position and role, transforming the hunt into a display of discipline. When the target finally falls, the cheetah coalition can share the meal in relative peace. Their group strength allows them to ward off smaller predators lingering nearby. The Serengeti is a land where unity brings power. These speed warriors have proven that when acting together, no objective is beyond their reach. Across the vast savannah, a spine-chilling cackle suddenly erupts, freezing the air. It is the call of the spotted hyena, the silent ruler of the wild plains. Never mistake the hyena for a cowardly scavenger. In reality, they are professional hunters, killing up to 95% of the food they consume. The hyena possesses a vaulted skull with immense jaw muscles. Their bite force reaches an incredible 1,100 pounds of force, surpassing even that of a mature male lion. Their conical molars are specifically designed to pulverize the toughest bone structures. The hyena is the only creature capable of completely digesting the femur of a Cape buffalo. Their stomachs contain hydrochloric acid at an extremely high concentration. Everything from horns and hooves to teeth is dissolved, leaving no trace of waste. Unlike the cats that rely on explosive bursts, hyenas are tireless marathon runners. A massive heart, accounting for 1% of their body weight, is the engine that keeps them running indefinitely. They can maintain a speed of 37 miles per hour for over 6 miles. A hyena does not kill with a single throat bite, but by pursuing the prey until it is utterly exhausted. Hyena society is a strict and powerful matriarchy. The females are larger, more aggressive, and hold every leadership position in the clan's hierarchy. Even the lowest-ranking female is afforded priority over any male. This stratification is maintained through rigorous rules and political alliances. The social intelligence of hyenas is rated by scientists as comparable to that of primates. They possess the ability to plan, recognize allies, and remember long-standing grudges. The hyena's laugh is actually a sophisticated language. The frequency and rhythm of the sound reveal information about age, status, and excitement levels. When night falls, these sounds serve as a rallying cry. They gather to defend territory or launch large-scale hunting expeditions. The feud between hyenas and lions is one of nature's most brutal wars. This is not just a fight for food, but a battle for ecological control. A lion will kill a hyena whenever possible to eliminate a competitor. Conversely, a large clan of hyenas can surround and kill a solitary lioness. Despite their fearsome reputation, local people hold a certain respect for the hyena. They believe their sloped backs are a symbol of extraordinary patience and endurance. Amidst the labyrinth of acacia thorns, a vivid and silent silhouette emerges. It is the African wild dog, the most efficient predator on the plains. Today, they face a grave risk of extinction. Each individual is a natural masterpiece, with a coat of black, gold, and white patches that is never repeated. The large, rounded ears of the wild dog act as hypersensitive antennas. They pick up the slightest vibrations from a distance, allowing the pack to coordinate with precision in the darkness. While lions succeed in only 30% of their hunts, the wild dogs achieve an unbelievable rate of 85%. In stark contrast to the brutality of the hunt, the family life of the wild dog is filled with warmth. Altruism is the core foundation that allows the pack to endure. After every hunt, the strongest members regurgitate food to nourish those who stayed at the den. Pups, the elderly, and even the injured are cared for with devotion. There is no squabbling over food within a wild dog family. The young are always given the first priority to eat. This is a natural moral code that sustains the lineage. This bond creates a profound spiritual strength. An injured individual may be supported by the pack for months until it fully recovers to rejoin the hunt. However, life for the wild dog is becoming increasingly difficult. Human encroachment and diseases from domestic dogs are pushing them to the brink. They require vast territories to roam and hunt. As these natural corridors are severed, these painted wolves are slowly fading into the void. In the regions draped by towering elephant grass, a small predator performs a dance of stillness. This is the serval. The serval possesses the longest legs relative to its body size of any cat. This design transforms it into a perfect all-terrain vehicle for peering through the grass. But its ultimate weapon is not its legs, but its enormous ears. They can rotate independently 180 degrees, like the most sensitive radar dishes on the planet. The serval can detect ultrasonic frequencies that the human ear is completely deaf to. It hunts with its ears, performing a process known as acoustic triangulation. The success rate of the serval reaches 50%. For every 2 attacks, it secures a meal. No great cat in the Serengeti can match this efficiency. However, pressure from larger predators has forced the serval to adapt. The night now belongs to lions and hyenas, who will kill it to remove competition. The serval has adjusted its biological clock, becoming a daytime hunter. It exploits the windows of time when the kings are fast asleep to continue its existence. each year. A single serval destroys thousands of rodents. Without them, the rodents would decimate the grass roots, causing the foundation of the green food chain to collapse. In a world of giants, the small must choose between timidness or a frantic kind of bravery. The black-backed jackal has chosen the latter. Legend says the dark saddle on its back is a burn from carrying the sun god across a flaming savannah. Despite its modest size, the black-backed jackal is a cunning hunter. They are not merely scavengers, they are audacious thieves, operating right under the lion's noses. They often work in pairs with seamless coordination. One will bark and run in circles to create a distraction, drawing the attention of the larger predator. While the lion is diverted, the other jackal will dart in like a flash to snatch a piece of choice meat. It is a dangerous dance with death, rehearsed over generations. Behind this clever exterior lies a family life that is remarkably exemplary. The black-backed jackal is monogamous. They remain with a single partner for their entire lives. Together, they defend their territory, hunt, and grow old. This bond creates a small but incredibly effective and disciplined unit. When diseases like rabies sweep through other species, the jackal is often the final survivor. Their genetic code has been forged to withstand the harshest conditions. The jackal is proof that intellect and loyalty can triumph over raw strength. In this world of giants, the African elephant stands supreme. Weighing up to 13,200 pounds, they are living walls that cannot be moved. Scientists call the elephant a keystone species. Without them, the entire Serengeti ecosystem would crumble. They are the great architects of the plains. Every day, an elephant consumes up to 660 pounds of vegetation. By toppling large trees, they prevent the encroachment of the forest, keeping the savannah open for the grass to flourish. When the rivers run dry, elephants become hydraulic engineers. They use their trunks and tusks to dig deep into riverbeds to find groundwater, saving thousands of other species. The elephant's trunk is a biological masterpiece with over 40,000 muscle bundles. It is strong enough to lift a tree trunk, yet delicate enough to pluck a single berry from the ground. Elephants live in a strict matriarchal society, led by the oldest female. Her memory is the survival map for the entire family through decades of drought. They communicate using infrasound below 20 Hz, which travels for dozens of miles. Elephants can even sense vibrations through their feet to recognize allies from afar. The elephant is a creature of profound emotion. When passing the remains of a relative, they will pause and use their trunks to touch the skull in remembrance. The grief of the elephant proves that a soul does not belong to man alone. Amidst the wild, the elephant remains a symbol of wisdom, power, and familial love. Beneath the murky swamps lies the home of the hippopotamus. Though they appear slow and placid, they are the most dangerous large animals in Africa. A startling fact: hippos cannot swim. Their bones are far too heavy. Instead, they walk or hop lightly along the riverbed, like astronauts on the moon. A hippo's skin is extremely sensitive to the sun. To protect themselves, they secrete a red fluid known as blood sweat, a natural sunscreen. The hipposudoric acid in this secretion blocks ultraviolet rays and has high antibacterial properties. It helps the hippo avoid infection while living in stagnant water. The hippo's most terrifying weapon is a pair of canines that can reach 20 inches in length. With a mouth opening 150 degrees, it can snap a large crocodile in half. Hippos are fiercely territorial. Any creature bold enough to trespass in their waters faces a terrifying rage. Under the cover of night, they leave the water to graze. A single individual may consume 88 pounds of grass in a night, carving smooth hippo highways. Their ecological contribution lies in their waste. Though they eat on land, they defecate in the water. This provides a massive influx of nutrients that sustains the entire aquatic ecosystem. Hippos are the formidable arbiters of the rivers. Their presence maintains a watery order that even crocodiles must respect. Across the sun-scorched plains of Africa, life evolves in a delicate equilibrium. And at the heart of this arduous struggle for survival, there is a powerful figure, the lioness, an emblem of tenacity, strategy, and teamwork. Unlike the males, who often play a role of protection and procreation, it is the females who are the core of the pride's hunting prowess. Each lioness possesses a body built for power and agility. Weighing around 265 pounds, they can reach speeds of up to 37 miles per hour. And coordinate their hunts through subtle, non-verbal cues. Typically, lionesses stay together for life, often as sisters, mothers, and grandmothers. This blood bond fortifies the trust and coordination essential for the hunt. The average lifespan of a lion in the wild is just 10 to 14 years, not long compared to other predators. Environmental pressures, territorial conflicts, injuries from the hunt, and competition from outsider males make survival a precarious venture. Yet, in this brief time, a lioness matures quickly, reaching her prime at around 6 years old, when her strength and experience are at their peak. What makes lionesses such supreme hunters is their ability to bring down prey many times their own size. Beyond antelope and warthogs, lions can take down zebra, wildebeest, and even young elephants if the conditions are right. They rely not just on size or strength, but on precise cooperation, a clear division of roles, and an incredible patience for the ambush. Today, the Pride is targeting a herd of Cape buffalo, a formidable and dangerous prey, but one that offers a rich reward. A Cape buffalo weighs around 1,760 pounds, is armed with sharp, curved horns and a fearsome temperament, and is considered one of the most formidable adversaries on the plains. Yet, this is precisely what makes them the ultimate prize if the hunt succeeds. Hidden in the tall grass, downwind from the herd, 6 lionesses split into 2 groups. One group moves forward to distract the buffalo, while the other encircles them, aiming to isolate a weaker animal. The herd scatters in a storm of dust. The silent warriors of the savannah have claimed another victory, not through individual might, but through strategy, unity, and courage. In Africa, the lioness is a symbol of resilience and the art of survival. Through their collective hunts, they can fell prey many times their own weight and nourish an entire pride. Amid the harsh Kalahari Desert, where the heat and ever-present predators threaten every moment, a small society endures through its vigilance and cooperation, the meerkat. Weighing less than 2 pounds and measuring just 12 inches long, meerkats live in close-knit groups of up to several dozen individuals. Each member has a function, from digging for food to standing sentinel against danger. One stands erect, scanning the sky, while others search for scorpions, insects, and small lizards beneath the hot sand. They communicate with a diverse repertoire of calls, issuing different alarm signals for eagles, snakes, and jackals. When danger appears, the entire group freezes and vanishes underground. Meerkats are not only skilled defenders, they are also adept hunters. A young meerkat is hunting a scorpion. This is a technique learned from an early age. This wisdom is passed from one generation to the next, allowing them to survive in an unforgiving land. Across the sun-drenched plains of eastern and southern Africa, a silent figure glides through the short grass. It is not a lion, nor a hyena. It is the cheetah, armed with a weapon no other predator can match. Absolute speed. With its slender build, lightweight body, and an extraordinarily flexible spine, the cheetah can flex and launch itself like a spring, each movement propelling it forward. It has long forelimbs, powerful hind legs, and non-retractable claws that, like an athlete's spikes, increase its grip as it runs. Large nostrils, expansive lungs, a powerful heart, and a long tail that acts as a rudder help it maintain balance at top speed. Thanks to these adaptations, a cheetah can accelerate to over 62 miles per hour in just a few seconds. A marvel in the animal kingdom. However, these sprints quickly lead to exhaustion, leaving them vulnerable to having their kills stolen. While female cheetahs live a solitary existence, the males, particularly brothers from the same litter, form small coalitions of 2 to 4 individuals. It is a fundamental evolutionary strategy, improving territorial defense, increasing hunting efficiency, and providing mutual protection. In the wild, a solitary cheetah is successful in about 30% of its hunts. But with a coalition of males, that rate can double. Each one is not just a powerful individual, but a vital link in a machine of lethal precision. Speed is instinct. Strategy is intelligence. The cheetah has combined both to become one of the most fearsome hunters on the African savannah. The Serengeti's woodlands stretch for hundreds of square miles, where the East African cheetah showcases its supreme hunting skills. On this vast arena, speed becomes a weapon sharpened by evolution. After more than 3 million years of evolution, the cheetah has developed a slender body, a light skeleton, flexible muscles, and long limbs. All fine-tuned for speed and precision. Unlike the roaring lions and the bold hyenas, the East African cheetah moves in silence, a phantom on the sun-drenched plains. The males form tight-knit coalitions of 2 or 3 individuals, patrolling the hunting grounds. While the solitary females raise their cubs alone, teaching them every instinct needed to survive. As the sun climbs high, the cheetah hides in the tall grass, closing the distance with deadly patience. Within 100 yards, it explodes forward. "23-foot-long strides cut through the air, powered by a spine, limbs, and pelvic muscles that work in perfect harmony. It is a living arrow, guided by a tail that acts as its fletching, carving impossible turns in the air. But this gift of explosive speed comes with a terrible price. The cheetah's body is a furnace that burns too bright, too fast. It has but a few heartbeats, a few hundred yards, to claim its prize before its own fire consumes it. Every hunt is a race, not only against its prey, but against itself. The hunt follows a brutally choreographed sequence. Target, stalk, accelerate, attack, and a bite to the throat. If it fails, the cheetah will abandon the chase instantly, conserving every ounce of energy under the scorching sun. Further north, the Lolondo range rises between the Serengeti and Ngorongoro, a semi-arid land at an altitude of 5,000 feet. During the day, the sun scorches up to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. At night, the temperature drops to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet, life thrives here. For the wildebeest, zebra, and Thompson's gazelle, Lolondo is a lifeline, a crucial stopover on their arduous journey. The open grasslands of the Lolondo region stretch endlessly. A A stage of survival where every step is measured and every shadow can signal danger. The Thompson's gazelle, a small and agile antelope, roams in scattered herds. In this vast land, where the terrain is flat and visibility is clear, living in a herd is not just social, it is survival. Each gazelle acts as a living radar. Their diet is simple but effective. Short grass and a few fiber-rich shrubs, perfectly designed to sustain life through the harsh, dry season. When threatened, they spring up with spectacular leaps, high, elastic jumps on all four legs that both confuse the predator and alert the herd. The Lolondo grasslands are also a refuge for the Grant's gazelle. Slightly taller, more robust, and built for endurance. They can reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, escaping even the most determined predators. Water is often scarce, but the Grant's gazelle has the remarkable ability to derive moisture from vegetation, surviving for weeks without drinking. And when the great herds pour across the plains, bringing life from the distant savannas, the chase begins. A relentless dance of predator and prey. In the dry season, when every sip of water and every blade of grass is precious, the predators face constant pressure. Here, the East African lion has adapted down to its every muscle, fiber, and bone. Its mane is lighter and shorter than those in more humid regions, designed to dissipate heat effectively under the scorching sun. As prey thins out and water disappears, the prides expand their territories. Their hunting tactics also evolve with the land. At night, the lionesses move in silence. Scarcity teaches a harsh lesson. Drinking the blood of their prey is quicker than finding water. Every hunt sustains the pride. As the sun scorches the plains, the spotted hyena waits, patient and cunning. They roam for miles under the harsh sun, conserving energy and water. In times of scarcity, the clans unite, even stealing kills from lions, their most formidable rivals. Amidst this wild stage, humans also share the land. The Maasai community herds their cattle, sheep, and goats. They follow the seasonal rhythms, moving their livestock to allow the grasslands a chance to recover. Through ecotourism and tradition, they strive to protect their ancestral lands while coexisting with the surrounding wildlife. In Lolondo, life exists on a razor's edge, where every creature must adapt, endure, and thrive under the harsh African sun. But no one fulfills that role more faithfully than the white-headed vulture. This scavenger is often the first to arrive at nature's grim feasts. The white-headed vulture can travel vast distances in a single day, soaring high to search for any sign of life or death. With a powerful digestive system that can destroy even diseased tissue, it stands as a silent guardian, purifying the land. Meanwhile, Ruppel's griffon vulture, capable of flying up to 37,000 feet, is one of the highest flying birds on Earth. Special hemoglobin in its blood allows it to draw oxygen from the thin air, a remarkable ability. When a carcass appears on the savannah, they descend in great numbers. Using their strong beaks and sturdy frames, they tear at the hide, crush bone, and consume what is left. However, today, Ripple's griffon vulture is on the brink of extinction. Habitat loss, poisoned carcasses, and illegal hunting are pushing this soaring giant to its doom. In the distance, the kopjes rise, ancient granite strongholds jutting out from the Serengeti like nature's own fortresses. Formed over millions of years by tectonic shifts and relentless erosion, these stone towers stand tall, strategic watchpoints sculpted by time. Under the harsh sun, the kopjes become a sanctuary for rock hyraxes and agama lizards. As the dry season wears on, these pockets of moist earth become lifelines, sustaining insects, birds, and small herbivores. In this way, the kopjes transform into crucial stopovers in the food chain, attracting both predator and prey. On the ledges and within the narrow crevices, the rock hyrax hides from the sharp eyes of leopards and eagles. Special paw pads and sweat gland texture help them grip even the smoothest rocks. Living in groups of up to 80 individuals, they depend on solidarity. Every call, every whistle has a meaning. Vigilance is their armor. But behind the granite walls is a master of concealment. Silent, patient, and lethal. For the leopard, the kopjes are not just a refuge, they are thrones. From these heights, it watches undisturbed, avoiding rivals and holding the power of surprise. As one of the Savannah's most talented solitary hunters, the leopard blends perfectly with the rock and bush. Its pale, golden coat, with its dark rosettes, vanishes into the terrain. Quiet and calculated, the leopard waits for the perfect moment of vulnerability. Then it descends from above. Its climbing ability is its greatest advantage. Strong muscles and curved claws allow it to drag entire carcasses up tall trees or deep into rock crevices, out of the reach of hyenas and lions. Here, in the kingdom of stone, the leopard reigns alone. Surrounding the great rivers like the Grumeti and the Mara are the wetlands of the Serengeti National Park. These wetlands retain moisture and water even when the surrounding grasslands and woodlands begin to dry out in the harsh, dry season. Here, plants like papyrus, sedges, and aquatic grasses form a dense vegetation that both retains and filters the water, providing a clean water source that sustains many species. This thriving environment not only nurtures waterfowl and fish, this swampy region is also a promised land for the African sacred ibis, with its shallow waters and rich vegetation. This flexible foraging behavior allows the sacred ibis to adapt when food becomes scarce, especially during the dry season. During the breeding season, they gather in large groups, building nests of twigs and grass on top of dense bushes or low trees to protect their eggs. With their long, curved beaks and sturdy legs, they move skillfully through the murky water, avoiding creating ripples or disturbances while foraging. The fresh water and rich ecosystem here also make it an ideal environment for herons. Moving gracefully on their long legs, the grey heron, the black-headed heron, and the great egret silently hunt with their pointed beaks. Their grey and white plumage blends perfectly into the shadows of the trees and tall grass, allowing them to remain undetected by both prey and predators. But perhaps the true silent ruler of the swamps is the hippopotamus. With a massive body 3 to 16 feet long and weighing up to 2 tons, they spend most of the day submerged in the cool water, with only their eyes and ears above the surface, monitoring every movement around them. The swamps not only provide a refreshing refuge, but also shield them from the harsh sun, protecting their thick skin. In this world, the hippo's strength is a formidable force. Their bite force can reach up to 1,800 pounds per square inch, enough to threaten any intruder. Their 16-inch long tusks are formidable weapons, ready to be used to defend their underwater territory. Hippos are not random giants in this ecosystem. They create paths through the small streams, creating corridors for smaller species and maintaining life throughout the swamp ecosystem. There are no sirens to signal the danger. Life huddles around the few remaining sanctuaries. The margin between life and death narrows. The predator has no need for haste. The prey cannot afford a single lapse. In this landscape, silence is often the first herald of upheaval. While the male lion reigns as a symbol of static authority, it is on the scorched grasses of the Serengeti that the females reveal themselves as the true sovereigns, shouldering the very lifeblood of the pride. Beneath a midday sky that unleashes its searing fury, their perfect camouflage allows their toned bodies to dissolve into the color of the arid grass. Cold, amber eyes pierce the shimmering heat haze, locking onto their target, a herd of wildebeest grazing unawares in the distance. The silent huntresses tighten their encirclement in the suffocating stillness. A wind-tearing burst of speed closes the gap between predator and prey. A fatal clamp to the windpipe seals the wildebeest's fate, affirming their ultimate authority. Though they are masters of this domain, life under the African sun is never easy. Every meal is paid for in sweat, blood, and exhaustion. But it is their supreme tactical intelligence that allows them to overcome the extreme harshness of this natural crucible. The lion rules not only with fang and claw or a thunderous roar, but with the undying strength of kinship and resilience. Following the silent footsteps of the lion, the towering silhouettes of African elephants appear along the Luangwa floodplains. They move like living fortresses, slow yet imposing, carrying wisdom and collective instincts honed over 1,000 generations. A mature bull can weigh over 13,000 pounds and stand 13 feet tall, looming like a two-story house over the savannah. Their vast ears, laced with a dense network of blood vessels, act as natural radiators to release heat under the valley sun. At Luangwa's heart, when the dry season pushes temperatures to a staggering 104 degrees, this cooling is the key to life. The trunk, an evolutionary masterpiece of 40,000 muscles, serves as a magnificent tool for feeding, drinking, and social grace. The tusks, which are elongated incisors that grow through the years, are both weapons and essential tools of discovery. They dig for water in parched riverbeds and clear paths through the densest thickets. Elephants are the true architects of the ecosystem, forging trails through the mopaine forests for smaller species to follow. Their intelligence is the stuff of legend. Without maps or technology, the herd remembers the exact locations of underground springs dried up for many years. In their matriarchal society, the eldest female serves as the leader, a matriarch holding a treasury of experience from the harshest droughts. The empathy of the elephant extends far beyond mere instinct. When a member of the herd falls, the others gather, touching the still body with their trunks, a profound response to death. On this same savannah, the fate of these giants is more precarious than ever before. Poaching and habitat loss have driven the African elephant population into a severe and tragic decline. By 2024, only 415,000 remain on the continent, the last souls, writing an epic of survival on their wild motherland. Here, the hesitant are swallowed by their own indecision. There is only one choice: advance or vanish. When the moment comes, instinct speaks before reason. Not everyone gets the chance to retreat. Only one question echoes. Who will stand until the end? Welcome to the grand stage of nature. When the name Wild Africa is mentioned, our minds always conjure the image of a reigning king. That is the lion. A thick, dark mane, a crown woven from shadow and authority. It is not just for show, it is a silent warning to any who would be foolish enough to challenge. Every crisscrossing scar is a chapter of history, a map of blood charting the price of this throne. When he roars, the very air seems to tear. A concussive wave of sound travels for miles, like thunder rolling from the earth's core. It is not merely a sound, it is a declaration of sovereignty that makes every creature from antelope to leopard shudder. But kingship in the wild is never an easy seat. Those amber eyes are always burning, never truly daring to close. Because out there, in the darkness, coalitions of young males are circling, coveting his kingdom and his harem. He patrols the borders of his territory with heavy, calculated steps. He is the steel shield, the only barrier between the order of the pride and the chaos beyond. In this brutal land, mercy does not exist. Strength is the only law. Time is the most relentless enemy. But this king's will is harder than mountain stone. And as the sunset silhouettes him against the fiery sky, he stands, alone but magnificent, the eternal lord of the wild land. But in another world, at the far end of the earth, a different, fierce story is unfolding. The creatures here must live in bone-chilling cold all year round. Yet, they patiently endure to survive in this harsh land. In this vast, frozen kingdom, nature has imposed harsh laws that only the best adapted creatures can comprehend. The temperature drops with a brutality that can fell any unprepared being in minutes. This is the Canadian winter, a majestic stage where survival is not a right, but an achievement conquered through generations, thanks to thousands of years of perfect adaptation and a relentless resilience. A haunting sound blankets the icy air of the Canadian forests, echoing for kilometers across the snow-covered plains and frozen mountains. It is the howl of the grey wolf. Soon another wolf answers, then more, until the night is enveloped in a deep symphony, marking the boundaries of the pack's territory. These super predators have not only learned to endure the winter, but have also turned it into an ally. Thanks to their incredible social organization and hunting strategies perfected by nature over millennia. As social predators, wolves must coordinate every move, maintain group cohesion, and ensure that all members, from the strongest to the youngest, are in good physical condition. The social structure becomes even more crucial as temperatures plummet. The alpha pair not only leads the hunt, but also makes decisions about territory, resting areas, and resource distribution. Their two-layered, extremely insulating winter coat allows them to sleep directly on the snow, even at -40 degrees Fahrenheit. As winter progresses, hunting strategies also change. Cooperation among pack members becomes decisive on the deep snow. Wolves take turns breaking trail, with the lead individuals expending the most energy, while those behind take advantage of the compacted path. When they attack large prey like moose or deer, they use the snow as a weapon. They drive their prey into areas of deep snow, slowing them down. Maintaining a territory during the winter requires constant vigilance. A pack can defend an area of 77 to 386 square miles. In times of extreme scarcity, carrion plays a vital role. Wolves do not hesitate to consume animals that have died from the cold, starvation, or attacks by other predators. Unlike many animals, wolves remain active even on the harshest nights, despite blizzards and lethal temperatures. Their communication system becomes essential during these months. Howling maintains contact between dispersed members, coordinates movements, and reinforces social bonds. Reproduction is also synchronized with the winter cycle. Mating usually occurs in late winter, in February or March. Thus, the alpha female's gestation is timed so that the pups will be born in late spring, just as prey is giving birth and food becomes abundant again. These extraordinary adaptations, the result of thousands of years of evolution, have allowed wolves, bears, lynx, and other inhabitants of the taiga to thrive in the Canadian winter. But this ancient balance is now under threat. Climate change is altering the timing and severity of winter, affecting hibernation cycles and reducing the availability of prey. The majestic figure of a grizzly bear moves slowly among the golden autumn trees of the forest, as if each step marks the beginning of an ancient ritual. Its thick, coarse fur already hints at the undercoat that will protect it from the harsh winter cold. Every movement is deliberate. Every search for food is vital, because this super predator is preparing for one of the most extraordinary survival strategies nature has created: hibernation. This process, honed over millions of years, entails a physiological transformation so profound it is almost impossible. During the period of hyperphagia, the bear becomes a true energy-consuming machine. In late summer and during the autumn, it is capable of eating up to 20,000 calories a day. It can gain 2 to 4.5 pounds per day, and some individuals nearly double their weight before retreating to their dens. The choice of a den is a crucial moment. The bear seeks a place that offers insulation, protection from blizzards, and absolute tranquility. Unlike small mammals that fall into a deep torpor, the grizzly enters a state of controlled lethargy. Its vital functions decrease significantly, but it retains the ability to awaken if it senses danger. Its heart rate drops from 40 or 50 beats per minute to just 8. Respiration becomes slow, with long pauses sometimes between breaths. Its body temperature drops only a few degrees, from 100.4 to about 93.2 degrees Fahrenheit, thus maintaining the activity of vital organs while minimizing energy demand. Even more astonishing is that during this hibernation, pregnant females will give birth. The cubs, tiny and blind at birth, feed on the mother's energy-rich milk, while she remains in a deep sleep, living entirely off her fat reserves. The entry and exit from hibernation are regulated by food availability, climatic conditions, and the bear's physical state. However, not all bears can hibernate in ideal conditions. Those that have not accumulated enough fat may be forced to leave their shelters in the middle of winter, a decision that is almost always fatal. Climate change is increasingly altering these ancient rhythms. Warmer or irregular winters force some bears to awaken early. Added to this is the direct disturbance of dens by human activity. Logging, roads, mining, and even scientific research. The human footprint on these extraordinary survivors of winter creates a stark contrast with the marvelous adaptations nature has bestowed upon them. Even in the most remote regions of the north, where the cold dominates every corner of the landscape, our influence creeps in silently. Industrial development fragments the vast territories that wolves need to hunt in packs. Roads, pipelines, logging, and mining operations become barriers. Beavers, though maintaining relatively stable populations in many regions, are severely affected by changes in water levels due to dams, river diversions, and altered rainfall patterns. The hibernation areas of grizzly bears are also constantly disturbed. Logging, mining, and even some wildlife research projects can force bears to abandon their dens. Climate change exacerbates all these problems, unpredictably altering the conditions inside the dens and changing the timing when bears need to accumulate fat. Winter after winter, the cycles are broken. Shorter seasons, early snowmelt, irregular snowfall. In this ever-changing scenario, even the masters of winter face challenges that no biological adaptation had foreseen. Despite this, hope persists. Protected areas preserve essential habitats and maintain the ecological corridors that animals need to move freely. Research programs provide crucial insights to better understand the real needs of each species and design more effective conservation strategies. Indigenous communities, with their deep knowledge of northern ecosystems and their traditional practices of coexistence with wildlife, offer valuable perspectives. Each of these animals has demonstrated an extraordinary ability to survive the harshest trials of nature. But now they face another, more subtle and persistent challenge: the human impact on their ancient winter kingdom. The question now is not whether they can endure the cold, as millennia of evolution have proven they can, but whether they can withstand the transformations we are causing in their frozen and silent world.